going back to basics, what I mean by that is understanding the risks first, and how systems are developed and how applications are developed to deliver the functionality, and in that development, ensure that risks are taken into account. Layering on tool after tool after tool after the fact is a more expensive way, and at the same time, you're starting now to impact the functionality for the user, who's what you've created this for anyway. Then security starts to become a nuisance, and it starts to become something that people look for ways to get around. I think when architecting a solution, if you're taking into account the risk profile of the data, understanding who's going to have access and how far reaching this access needs to be, I think you can layer in those solutions as you're building it, as well as training when it comes to who's going to be the primary user of it. So I think for enterprise applications, understanding the tools surrounding security, they fit, everybody gets that piece. But when it comes specifically to applications dealing with one specific requirement or a number of specific requirements, it does go back to how it's architected and the risks surrounding the data that's being transferred back and forth and who has access to it. And that it does really have to come right from the beginning. Doing anything after that is either going to be a nuisance or it's going to be expensive. Well, it depends how far back to legacy we go. If we're talking about the mainframe environment and those types of things, although they don't, a lot of them are pretty well open, and some of them don't really have a good way to log, nor do they have strong password capabilities. I think you would wrap those in an environment within your organization where you would ensure that only the right people have access. You'd be doing reviews on who has access, doing those on a regular basis, and ensuring you're doing a good job from a policy perspective. So building policies and training, it's people and process around those types of legacy applications is critical, and as well as who needs to have access to do their job, as opposed to saying, well, it's who doesn't need access. It's more about starting at zero and working up, because the systems themselves don't lend themselves to the same type of security. You almost have to segregate them. It's not just the CIO. Being able to understand the risks of the organization and the risk tolerance when it comes to the different systems definitely is a business partnership. I believe that everything is a business partnership. As you're developing an enterprise architecture and understanding the different capabilities of the organization and how we fundamentally support or enable those capabilities, that's the place where this conversation has to happen.